Hello creatives, welcome to my channel. I'm Angela, a graphic designer and an illustrator, and today is the fall Apple event, and I figured that I would do another one of these reacting to the Apple event to see what's coming out and what they're going to announce. I'm filming this actually on the day, so September 7th, and let's see what they are bringing out. I heard rumors about a new phone, but we'll see what else that they bring out. Let's dive in. Just gonna turn down the audio. We are starting. Let's see what they say.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's not morning, it's 1 p.m. where I'm at.
We're fortunate to be surrounded by people who strive to innovate together to create products and experiences that enrich people's lives. iPhone,
Only 3.
AirPods, and Apple Watch. They're always
That's all they're talking about? The iPhone, the Apple Watch, and the AirPods?
There's also incredible integration between iPhone and Apple Watch.
I have seen that between the iPhone and the Apple Watch. It is pretty seamless. So what are they going to bring out for a new Apple Watch?
Can even get their health and fitness data from Apple Watch and see it on the health app.
Do you guys let Apple track your health or not? Because I don't. But I don't have an Apple Watch, so.
Apple Watch.
Oh, they have new bands.
It's always with you.
Yeah, I do notice that with the Apple Watch. They take your heart rate from the back. Okay, so he's showing all the personal feedback from the Apple Watch that he's received.
I'm a 27-year-old high school teacher. I'm a senior in high school.
I always find these cutaways to be very funny when it comes to these Apple events, because these people, whoever they get to read the prompts and stuff from this, like for this, it's like they've never seen it before. It's quite funny to me. They're talking about the emergency capabilities, like if you're in an emergency, you had an accident, the emergency capabilities of the Apple Watch. So basically the Apple Watch is like a backup, like if you don't have your phone on you, it's like an emergency backup that's always with you because it's always on your wrist, which yeah, I'm just not so sure about allowing them to track like your health data and stuff like that, but it is very useful for their emergency situations.
These are the reasons we do what we do.
It's a valid reason, I would say. Oh, here comes their famous transitions. Every time that they want to talk about something, they do like this really intricate transition to another area. Is that accurate, everybody? Is it the number one? I know there's a few on the market. Oh, I guess here comes the new features. You guys like their motion design, by the way.
The new Apple Watch
Series
Series 8.
8, okay.
Always on display with narrow borders to push the screen right to the end.
Okay, that was a criticism I've heard, was that the screen on the Apple Watch was too small. Oh, they have different colors.
The text and complications are easy to read even when your wrist is down.
Swim-proof?
And crack resistant.
How do they manage crack resistant? That's fascinating. Swim-proof I would like. That would make sense, especially if you do sports, like water sports, like surfing and stuff like that. It's very helpful.
Workouts and Fitness Plus. There are so many ways to exercise using Apple.
Does anyone actually work out with their Apple Watch on? I find that would be like quite annoying to have on your wrist. Correct me if I'm wrong though. I'm just someone who doesn't, I work out with nothing. Having a watch like impair my wrist would be a little uncomfortable for me. Just a little creepy that they track all of your health data. And is that just me, or do you guys feel that too? Helpful, but also kind of creepy in my opinion. They have so many transitions now. They're allowing more speakers in this event. Women's health.
We added cycle tracking 3 years ago.
I've heard about this, the cycle tracking app where they track a woman's cycle. I don't do that. They give you a lot of info, it seems. Data's secure and private, but they still track it.
Series 8 has a unique 2-sensor design. There's one temperature sensor on the back crystal in your skin.
There you go, the temperature sensor. That's what I was talking about when they like track your heart rate and stuff. They also track your temperature because they have a sensor on the back of the Apple Watch that is up against your skin.
Series 8 samples your wrist temperature every 5 seconds, and it can detect changes.
Every 5 seconds? That's a lot of data. Oh my gosh. Do your Apple Watches die quickly then? I feel like this would probably freak some people out, especially if you look at your health stats every day.
You may
They really went deep with this women's health and cycle tracking. I wonder why that was so important, especially on an Apple Watch where they market it as like a fitness based and helpful tool instead of it just being for health. Although maybe they have changed that. I guess they're moving now more into health since they showcased the emergency services before this. Okay, they just keep going into their privacy and how secure it is. I don't know. What do you guys feel about that? The integration, I do think is nice. The fact that it's offered, I think is good. But the tracking data, I don't know. And then they jump right back into safety.
Crash is detected, it will automatically connect you with emergency.
Oh, that's interesting.
Find your location and notify your emergency contacts.
So they call 911 for you and they notify who you have designated as your emergency contact if it detects that you've been in a crash. I wonder if there's ever been like a false notification. I'm not sure how sensitive that is, but that is kind of cool actually. It'd be very helpful for people. It seems like all their talk about the Apple Watch so far is for health and safety, which I think is a positive thing. However, it's just the data tracking for me that's just like a little bit creepy, in my opinion. This crash detection I think is very useful.
Other sensors in Series 8 include the barometer, microphone, and GPS.
Thoroughly tested, of course. I do like that they have a GPS in there, so that way if you're in a more secluded area that you can be found. I wonder how accurate it actually is. I also wonder if you have to charge this more often considering all the data that it collects constantly, like the every 5 seconds data collection of your temperature.
Apple Watch Series 8 still has all day, 18 hours.
Oh, there's my answer. All day battery life, apparently. So, okay. They have a low power mode. Alright, so if you're going to be in a situation where you have to be out and you don't have your charger with you for whatever reason, and you're going to be somewhere for 24 hours away from your charging station, or your charging cable, then you turn on low power mode and you can still have full access to your Apple Watch. Okay. They didn't really talk too much about the integration between it, the Apple Watch and the phone, so I wonder if they're going to get into that soon. Oh, here we go with their recycled materials again. And the 4 colors. It seems very basic for Apple.
Silver, gold, and graphite.
Oh, silver, gold, and graphite. That's new. What do you guys think about that yellow, though?
Including fresh colors.
Apple doesn't really do yellow.
Stylish new bands for Apple Watch Air Max.
I swear, every time that Apple collaborates with another brand, they make it like such a big thing.
Features a polished silver chain wrapping twice around the wrist for a bold look.
That's kind of cool for a chain look. Okay, so Hermes is definitely the brand that they've collaborated with the most here. I personally think the Apple Watch is useful. However, I don't personally use one, but what do you think of the new iOS 9?
Will start at $399 for GPS.
Is that the normal price for Apple Watch, $399? My goodness.
Any new Apple Watch.
$499 for both GPS and cellular, so to connect it to your phone. Oh, it's literally available within a week. That's insane. They always go through their show reel, if you will, of what's being offered on the new devices, or on the upgraded devices, I guess you would say. They are showcasing iOS 9 for the Apple Watch. So Series 7 was the one before, and the prices were quite big. I guess this is a more affordable version. Let's see. I'm looking at, oh yeah, they're showcasing the entire reel for everything that they just said there. For the Series 7, I do believe that it was $700, and this is only $500 with like everything else in it. Let's see what else they're gonna say.
SE is a fantastic way to get started with Apple Watch. And this new SE will be available in silver, midnight, and starlight, all in 100% recycled aluminum.
Silver, midnight, and starlight. So they're gonna go through every single thing here. But what do you guys think about the price? The price seems to be a little bit high in my personal opinion. However, I think the one before was it was a similar price, but I think it's gone down since then. There's lots of colors this time. I believe there's 5 now. Okay, so they have a lower price ranged Apple Watch called the SE, which everyone knows the SE as the phone to be the most like affordable iPhone there was. So they made a version of that for the Apple Watch, which makes sense. So it's about $140 less, $150 less than the brand new Apple Watch Series 8. So now they're showcasing all like the athletic features of the Apple Watch. And of course they have to have a show reel, but the Series 7 definitely had 5 colors. They did not have the graphite in that one. They had black, and then instead of red they had blue. Those are the differences in color.
Is Apple Watch Ultra, a completely new design, reimagined with its
Okay, so Apple Watch Ultra. So there's the Apple Watch, the SE, and then the Ultra. So instead of aluminum for the SE and the Apple Watch Series 8, the Ultra is, instead of the aluminum that those cases are made of, this one's made out of titanium. So they have a more rugged, durable outer casing design is what they are claiming. The amount of detail and texture that they have when they zoom in. Oh, this one has an extra speaker on it for the Ultra. So 3 versions of the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch, the SE version, and then the Ultra version. If you are in extreme sports, I guess the Ultra version is for you. Same amount of battery life as they talked about with the original. Wow, 60 hours of extended battery. I was gonna say, the face of the Ultra one was definitely a lot more advanced. Because they have altitude, they have longitude, they have latitude, they have time, and they also have temperature. Oh, they're calling this Alpine Loop. Oh, I see. There's a motion one as well, a motion band. Is that magnetic? And the endurance band that I assume is Velcro. It probably doesn't pinch. That's what I know most people are like concerned about. I don't know if it's totally new, as they claim, for Ultra, or if it's just improved. I wonder if they have a broader range for their GPS on this one.
A new precision dual frequency GPS solution, latest frequency, L5 algorithm.
L5?
Dense urban
That's a
conditions
jump.
like this, new metrics, views, and experiences.
Okay, this new action button that they're talking about is definitely very helpful, especially for serious athletes like marathon runners and stuff like that.
The action button lets you conveniently mark a segment with a single press for the ultimate track running experience.
I like how they have the compass on here because I always find the compass to be helpful.
Get lost or disoriented? Backtrack uses GPS data to create a path of where you've been, so you can easily retrace your steps.
Oh, they have a backtrack. That's useful, especially for hikers, I think.
Built-in 86 decibel siren that you can activate using the action button.
That is a very interesting siren sound. Would anyone actually realize that that's a siren? The Apple Watch Ultra definitely would be the one to choose for surfers, I would say. Okay, so here's the breakdown of the Apple Watch Ultra, and they definitely geared this to the more extreme athletes. I have to say the Ultra is definitely pretty impressive, but let's see what the price is going to be. Also, the diving features are pretty impressive as well. They have a new app for it. Of course, their whole recycling initiative.
All models of Apple Watch Ultra will be $799.
Whoa. So it'll be available at the end of September, but $7.99. That's a big price tag for this. And then, of course, they go through their show reel once again at the end. They definitely provide a lot more information, and they also provide sensitive tracking when it comes to GPS. And the ruggedness of it, the durability is definitely there. Worth it? Not worth it? The different types of bands that they have for this is definitely nice, but would just the SE or the regular Apple Watch be sufficient enough? It depends on your level of physical fitness, I suppose. All right, so here are the 3, the SE, the Series 8, and the Ultra. Quite a big jump price-wise from $249 of the SE to the 3 upwards to $499 for the Series 8, and then the $799 jumbo price for the Ultra. They definitely brought out some new features. I'd say they're pretty worth it. And here we go with AirPods. Do you guys use AirPods to watch movies? I typically don't. Didn't Beats come out with their version of the AirPods? Did they try to rival Apple with that? There's also other companies that have been coming up with their own versions as well that have a lot more features to them. But let's see what these new AirPods are all about. Their After Effects. This is nice because it's hard to animate sound, but I do like this. whole After Effects reel here. Little homage to the early 2000s was funny. Late 90s, early 2000s.
Custom amplifier to power it. Even more detail and clarity away with spatial audio.
Oh, here we go with spatial audio. I was wondering if they were going to talk about that since they brought spatial audio to the desktops. I wonder if they were going to bring it to the iPods as well. They did. The After Effects in this is great.
Spatial audio.
So they still have noise canceling or no?
Users love is active noise cancellation.
There it is. Active noise cancellation.
It reduces unwanted noise, so you
Okay, so they upgraded it basically.
optimizing the placement of the acoustic vent and microphone sables up to double the amount of
Okay, so they moved the microphone and the bands where the audio comes out of. Interesting. Oh, and here we go. Here's the customization I was talking about with the other companies. So they provide different sizes of earbud, inner earbud attachments, so that way it can fit your ears. I was wondering when they were going to do that because other companies have been doing it.
transparency, which dynamically reduces the volume of harsh environmental noise.
Is this? I wonder if this adaptive transparency is something that you have to turn on as far as like a setting, or is it just automatic?
The force sensor on AirPods Pro brought the capability to play or pause media and answer calls.
Oh, so it's just a tap?
Touch control.
Yeah. Okay, it is a tap.
Passive sensing layers, so you can adjust volume with a light swipe up or down.
Okay.
Then you
Instead of having to do it on your phone, you just do it on the actual AirPod itself.
delivering even longer battery life.
They really like this whole battery life initiative that they're doing this time around.
From a single charge.
6 hours off of a single charge.
The charging case is also core to the convenience of AirPods Pro. Find My can help you locate AirPods Pro because each headphone can individually play a sound. We have also added a speaker to the bottom to help you find it by playing louder tones.
Yes, they did integrate this Find My on the AirPods before. They did it with AirTags and then they produced a sound, so now they brought that to the AirPods case. And now you can dock charge it. And they gave you a little lanyard loop so that you can hold it on your bag or your wrist or whatever. Oh, they took away the plastic wrapping around the outside of that. I was wondering if they were going to keep that or not. $249 for that. You're going to have an emoji engraved on it now. Does that matter to you guys? I mean, I guess. And the new AirPods Pro is definitely an increase in price, I think by almost $100.
For the new iPhone.
Okay, new iPhone. Okay, so there were rumors of a new iPhone 14, so I guess this is what they are going into now. What is this transition? Oh, I see. So this is the new iPhone 14 that was leaked a month or two ago. Their motion design is so funny to me. It's smooth, I will say that.
And even bigger with iPhone 14. Tell you all
Apple
about it.
14 and Apple 14 Plus. These transitions. We've gone into so many different types of rooms. Now we're in like an underground basement.
Larger 6.7-inch size of iPhone 14.
How much bigger are these phones gonna get?
Display, you can
6.7 inches, that's pretty big.
browsing the web. The fitness app, which
I mean, my screen's pretty great.
summary.
I have
Your more
the iPhone 13 in Starlight.
show on
Here's the specs, HDR, wide color gamut. Yeah. The iPhone 13 is like 6.1 inches, so they have a 6.1 and then they have a 6.7 for the iPhone 14. So the iPhone 14 base model is going to be this size, and the iPhone 14 Plus is going to be slightly bigger than this one, which is crazy. It's kind of like they're going for Samsung, huh?
truly eye-catching product red.
I like the color scheme that they have here. It's not much different from the color scheme they've used in the past. That light blue, however, is different instead of the dark blue that they're usually doing, that they usually provide.
Throughout your day, with the
But they do have the product red, of course.
in an iPhone. The larger display
They really are pushing this battery life initiative here with this new release. Talk about performance of an iPhone when you're in what looks to be under like a car basement, parking garage.
extraordinary features.
A15 Bionic. Boy, they really moved fast. A15 now.
The 5-core GPU is 18% fast core CPU with 2 high-performance and 4 efficiency cores for neural engine that pushes the limits of machine learning.
Now they're going to talk about the iPhone cameras. Now on the 13, they have some pretty cool dual cameras on here, but let's see what they say for this one. It looks pretty similar to the iPhone 13.
Getting the best shot possible. With a larger sensor and larger pixels at 1.9 microns. It has a faster f1.5 aperture and sensor shift OIS for a powerful main camera upgrade.
It's only slightly faster than the iPhone 13.
Vibrant colors, depth camera. It has
Oh, they put the true depth camera on the front as the selfie camera, which they only started saying since, I think, 2017. They call it a selfie camera.
autofocus clearly at multiple distances.
Oh, they put autofocus on it. Isn't the portrait mode on the camera supposed to be like that as well on the iPhone 13?
So you'll get better selfies.
They definitely put this camera to the test for social media and influencers and such like that, is what I'm getting from this. More advanced lenses. I do have to say, their low light photography is definitely much better than it used to be, especially with the 13, so now the 14 as well.
Ordinary detail and preserves even the subtlest textures.
So they changed when the photo gets compressed when the photo is taken. That's interesting because when a photo is compressed, it does diminish the quality of the photo. So they changed that so that way your photos are of higher quality, which I appreciate.
Improvement to video.
Okay, here we go with video.
iPhone. It now has a new, even more advanced stabilization mode.
Better internal stabilization.
Full sensor with more overscan.
They don't have action mode in the 13.
In the middle of the
I mean, there is video stabilization on the iPhone 13, but this I think is for more intense movement. All right, I wonder about the price of this now.
Making it even easier to connect. An eSIM is a digital SIM. Quickly transfer an existing cellular.
Wait, they don't have a physical SIM card anymore? So where are you going to store them though for these eSIMs? So where is still your data being stored then if it's not on a physical SIM card? Obviously it's going to be on a server somewhere.
First time, all US models no longer have the SIM tray.
I wonder if that's going to give issues between the US and the rest of the world, and when the rest of the world has physical SIM cards and the new iPhone 14 for the US does not.
It has crash detection.
Okay, so I was wondering if they were going to bring crash detection to the iPhone as well, since they mentioned it on the new Apple Watch Series 8, and it looks like they did. How do they connect without a cellular connection or a Wi-Fi connection? I'd be interested in understanding that. In extreme conditions, emergencies, they claim to have more accurate GPS. So for extreme situations, all their health and safety precautions and measures that they've taken for this release seems to be at the forefront with all of the specifications and all of the upgrades. That seems to be the most important thing that they are talking about in this event. That it's interesting why they're doing it now.
Connecting to satellite presents an entirely
Okay, so that's the answer, is satellite. I was like, there's only one other option if it's not Wi-Fi and cellular connection, satellite connection. So they did an internal satellite detection sensor. I'm assuming it's a sensor that they put in the phone, so that way you know where the satellite is to connect. It's very interesting. They basically took the walkie-talkie, if you will, and decided, or ham radio, if you will, for that, and integrated the basic concept of that and put it in the phone. I wonder why they didn't bring this out before. Find My is now connected to satellite. Okay, maybe that was why they waited. The whole satellite connection is an interesting one. Also, that's being provided in November, so after the Apple Watch and the iPods. What do you guys think of the whole satellite connection? Positives, negatives? I'm wondering what the new price will be for this phone, because that satellite connection is definitely a game changer when it comes to connectivity. Okay, $799 is here the prices. Okay, so $799 for the base model, and then the Plus is $899. It's on par with the iPhone 13. It's a little bit pricier, but they don't have a Pro version that they've mentioned yet, just the Plus. So I don't know if there's going to be a Pro version or not. Could you just stick with the iPhone 13? Yes, it depends on your lifestyle. It's interesting, their main messaging is health, safety, extreme situations, and then of course battery life is like a whole thing about everything. I do like the new action mode for the camera. However, is it fully necessary? Not for me personally, but I guess they're coming out with a Pro, iPhone 14 Pro. Yep, okay, here's the Pro. Oh, they took the notch away. Oh, it's stainless steel casing. A deep purple. I know for the iPhone 12, I think it was, they announced a purple. So instead of the notch at the top, they have an on-screen one that they're calling Dynamic Island, where you get all of your notifications. Interesting they call it a dynamic island, because it's just sitting up there. I wonder if you can move it. Could you move it out of your way? I mean, that is handy when you, that way you don't have to, you know, scroll down from the top just to do all of your notifications and such, and scroll up to find all your notifications. I feel like this is something that they pulled from the iPad, because the iPad has something like that. Notification comes up, it comes up like this that they're putting up for the iPhone 14. I feel like they took that technology from the iPad and put it on the new iPhone. So it's the same sizes as the base model iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus. But the Pro comes in both sizes. At least they're giving you choice. I just wonder what the price jump is going to be for this. They did not mention that you can move that dynamic island. I'm not sure that you can. And they're like, oh, you want widgets? Okay, here you go. Everyone likes to customize their stuff. Okay, they're talking about the always on display, so that way your phone doesn't just automatically go into sleep mode, so you can see everything in one spot. I wonder how that affects the battery though. But they've been talking about low power mode and their battery saving initiative this whole time. So, okay, so they kind of have it like running in the background, more of like on a low power mode without having to put it on low power mode. Let's see. And a new Bionic chip, the A16. And the A15 was in the other model. And they put the A16 in the 14 Pro. They're really proud of their Bionic chips, the chips that Apple creates for themselves with their multi-core CPU and GPU. So they made them quite a bit more efficient without having to sacrifice your battery, which everyone has been on their case about with battery life, and that's kind of like a main component of this entire announcement. They definitely want you to stay connected with this always on display that they have. 48 pixel camera. Okay, well that 48 pixel camera is pretty big. That's a pretty fast aperture, but the Plus model I think said a 1.5. So not as fast, but I'm pretty sure one of the other cameras has it. It's a great photo. They definitely are pushing for more low light photography with this one by having a lot more light coming into the camera to allow your photos to really stand out with some dramatic lighting. I feel like Apple's trying to push out your traditional cameras with their iPhones, especially the Pro versions. Yes, they're Pro RAW. Apple Pro RAW, taking photos in the RAW, so uncompressed photography. Creates a massive file though. I wonder how much storage space that they provide on this. That's gonna be a massive file. Like, oh, and they also showcase macro photography on the 12 megapixel camera. Okay, so I'm curious to see what their storage is going to be like on this phone, because I feel like it might get filled up pretty quickly with that 48 megapixel Pro RAW camera. The macro photography I think is great, but I feel like you would need a lot of storage, especially if you're going to take RAW photos. Yep, I knew it. They're pushing more for low light photography. This studio looks like the Apple stores, doesn't it? Oh, here we go with video. I was wondering when they were going to showcase video for the Pro. Okay, so they brought action mode to the 14 Pro as well. And they also have cinematic mode for it, which is great because cinematic mode is also on the iPhone 13. Is that all day battery life of normal usage? It's MagSafe, ceramic shield. The storage they haven't mentioned yet. I do have to say, I do like the UX design on the always on display. I find it to be a little bit more cleaner and it has a little bit more personality to it. A little aesthetic thing for myself as a graphic designer. It's nice. What a beautiful setup for this photography, for this photograph here. Yes, raw photos do give you a lot of high resolution, which is because it's uncompressed, but it takes up a lot of space on your device. I do like the new action stabilization that they put on the iPhone. That's nice. Their titles that they put in these show reels are very simple yet very effective, and they all, for some reason, have gradients on them. It's pretty effective. Curious if this phone, the Pro version, is going to cap over $1,000. I'm pretty sure it might. Usually the Pro models get pretty close. Oh, and then there's a Pro Max, of course. So the base model Pro is still $999, and then the Pro Max is $1099. That's in line with the two previous phones' pricing. I wonder if they did that because of the economy so far. So if you wanted to, you could definitely stick with the iPhone 13, I think. If you want to go more into the extreme and take a phone with you for photography purposes and travel photography purposes, you'd probably be pretty interested in the iPhone 14 Pro. I wonder if they still have their base storage, and then if you have to pay extra storage through the cloud. You'd be moving files a lot, especially if you film in ProRAW. The satellite connectivity I find to be an interesting new feature. They had a lot of criticism for notch up here. They kind of took it away, but also brought it back with an on-screen display, which I think is pretty funny. Well, that was Fall Apple Event 2022. They didn't really go over a lot of the storage capabilities of the iPhone, especially with the iPhone 14 Pro, which can shoot in ProRAW, but I feel like it would probably be pretty similar to the previous iPhone 13 Pro. I like how they're keeping the prices pretty similar to the previous version, so that's always good. Definitely pushing more for safety, security, and longer battery life, as well as their cameras, as always. Not too much new with this, except for the emergency service connectivity through satellite. That was definitely interesting. And their new action mode as far as taking video on the new iPhone. They mentioned a cinematic mode, however, cinematic mode is already on the iPhone 13, so that's not different. Pros, cons. I also just want to touch on the motion effects, the after effects, if you will, for during the iPod section. I thought that was very cool. It was very interesting. The UX design for the new display island, I think, is nice on the iPhone, and the design of the always on display with the widgets and how they can be personalized and how they look more updated and streamlined. I find that to be really nice. They're just like key little details, design elements that I appreciate. However, I don't know if it's worth it. It is nice to see their environmental change and their environmental initiative, and the fact that they're focusing more on health and safety with this launch. There wasn't a lot that was new. The Apple Watch, the Ultra, I think is probably the most new thing that they have going on so far. Their new colors, and of course they partnered with Hermes again for their bands and such like that. They partnered with them last year, and now they've done it again. So they partnered with them last year on the AirTags. But this year, just the AirPods, the iPhone, and the Apple Watch, which I find to be pretty interesting. There's very few upgrades when it comes to the Apple Watch until you get to the Ultra. However, I do think that the Ultra is definitely worth it if you are in more extreme conditions a lot. Necessary? Not for the average person. The iPhone 14, is that one necessary? Not unless you want the Pro, in my opinion. The Pro definitely makes it a lot more worth it. However, you can get a similar level with the iPhone 13 Pro. The only main difference, of course, is that extra camera with the 48 megapixel Pro RAW. But if you are a photographer and you have a camera that you can shoot in RAW with, then I don't think you really need it. Their initiative is very interesting this time around. It's not all about just their products, it's also about health and safety, which I think is just a byproduct of the past few years. So that was the Apple event. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you have any opinions, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. Do you like the products? Do you not? Go ahead and chat below, and I will see you all in my next video. See you soon, creatives.